Absolute discharge. An absolute discharge will stay on an offender's criminal record for 1 year after the date they receive the discharge. Absolute discharge. Absolute majority. 280 seats are needed for an absolute majority in the National Assembly. Absolute majority. Absolute monopoly. The company's absolute monopoly was finally broken in 2012. Absolute monopoly. Absolute privilege. Absolute privilege is a complete defense to an action for defamation in English law. Absolute privilege. Absolute right. The sales company shall have the absolute right to apportion the commissions among the participants. Absolute right. Absolute title. Where the title is leasehold, the absolute title is granted where the registrar also approves the lessor's title. Absolute title. Action of power. Eric began explaining the importance of action of power. Action of power. Action of process. The article is about the action of a process. Action of process. Action of human rights. They are the vigorous supporters of action of human rights. Action of human rights. Adverse in personam. The limits of the registered proprietor from adverse claims in personam have not been clearly defined. Adverse in personam. Adverse in rem. If a judgment is made into an adverse in rem adjudication, suits that might otherwise have been defaulted. Adverse in rem. Arbitration agreement. The arbitration agreement is ordinarily a clause in a larger contract. Arbitration agreement. Arbitration clause. The arbitration clause is absent in this contract. Arbitration clause. To submit a dispute to arbitration. I want to submit a dispute to arbitration. To submit a dispute to arbitration. To refer a question. Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to refer a question to arbitration. To refer a question to arbitration. To go to arbitration. If we can't agree by midnight tomorrow, this case will go to arbitration. To go to arbitration. Breach of confidence. A breach of confidence can occur. Breach of confidence. Breach of contract. They threaten to sue us for breach of contract. Breach of contract. Breach of promise. Breach of promise. I cannot accept his breach of promise. Breach of promise. Breach of the peace.
Firstly, it is important to define what breach of the peace is.
Breach of the peace. Breach of trust. He was on trial for breach of trust. Breach of trust. Breach of warranty. Liability based on breach of warranty is actually a contract action. Breach of warranty. Capital allowance. For capital allowances purposes, expenditure is generally deemed to be incurred when the obligation to pay becomes unconditional. Capital allowance. Arbitration board. Arbitration board. Arbitration award.